And that's really going to be my main theme tonight, is defending our values. I was at an event Sunday night in Edmonds, Washington, at church there, Westgate Chapel, and I was really, really impressed with the program that this church is doing. In fact, the pastor, he made it clear that for 30 years he had been one of those guys, one of those pastors that was afraid to take on the hot topics, that wouldn't preach on the cultural issues of the day, didn't want to see the division in his church, didn't want to lose people, all that good stuff. Bad stuff, I should say. And COVID woke him up, man. He said, listen, the governor shut us down, tried to tell us how to do things, realized that government is encroaching upon our freedoms. And he said I had to speak up. And in fact, he didn't just decide to speak up. He decided to learn. He decided to study. He decided to discover what it is that makes a nation free and what the church's role is in that. And so he started this thing called Apologia, which I love it. A lack of apologetics is why we're in the mess we're in right now. A lack of obeying the command to always be ready to answer, always be ready to defend our faith, defend what we believe in. And so he started doing this once a month, Sunday nights. He would bring in a guest like a Charlie Kirk or an Eric Metaxas or me or whoever to talk about application of the Bible to whatever's going on in the culture. And man, this crowd, I'm telling you, man, their questions were off the charts and incredible. They had absolutely a desire and a hunger to learn. It was great. And why? Because a pastor stepped up and did their job leading that church. I think we can get more of that. I don't think it's necessarily going to start with the pastors, but the pastors have to be involved. It can start with you. You can be the one to go to your pastor and say, listen, man, it's crazy out there right now, and we need biblical instruction, and we need biblical guidance on how to handle this stuff. And give them this example of Westgate Chapel in Edmonds, Washington. In fact, I'll try to find the links to share in the chat tonight to the conversation that I had with this pastor on stage. That's how he does it. He basically just brings in the guest. We sat there in 2 chairs, coffee table, whole 9 yards. Felt like I was on a talk show, and it was great. I mean, he asked great questions. The audience asked great questions. And it's just learning. It's iron sharpening iron, which is what we do here on the Front Porch, right? We bring up the hot topics of the day. I give you my thoughts on the good, the bad, and the ugly of the last week. We get your questions, and we get you to have the same conversations with your friends and family back home. That's what can save America. It's civil discourse or civil war. We've said it for a long time. So civil discourse is what we choose. And so we're looking for ways to have those conversations together and to actually challenge each other to step up and do our part. So let's talk some good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's get into it. I want to, there's a lot of bad and the ugly that we could dive into. I mean, just the ugly is kind of the embarrassing of this president.